Hi everyone, welcome to my brand new channel. My name is Maki. I'm a musician and interior designer. I just started this channel January 2024 and this is my fourth interior design video. So thank you so much for coming and welcome. Today I'm going to show you how I remade my dining table. So let's dive into the topic.
I got this dining table for $65 on Craigslist when I moved to the States. I didn't really like the leg part, but I was on budget at that time. I repainted it and I had been using it for 9 years. Right now, these round tables with big tube legs are trending and I really like it, but this one cost almost $3,000 and this one's almost $5,000. So I decided to remake the table that I had. I've seen similar projects on YouTube that they used PVC pipes or concrete foam tubes for coffee table legs, but the concrete foam tubes are made with cardboard and it's not probably strong enough for a dining table, so I first wanted to use PVC pipes and headed for Lowe's. But the largest diameter they had was only 4 inch and that was too small. They said I needed to order if I wanted a bigger diameter. And they said they wouldn't cut it unless I ordered a plumbing service. And one pipe is about 20 feet long and there was no way to fit it in my Prius anyway. I checked on Amazon and found a PVC pipe with 6-inch diameter that they cut to custom size, but it was still a bit too small and a bit too pricey, not only for me but to wow my channel viewers. I was thinking what to do. Then I came up with this idea. Why don't I use lumber as table legs, then cover them with concrete foam tubes. Then I apply spackling paste on them, and when the spackle sets, it would probably make the tube stronger. Seems like a great idea. So I got these 3 lumbers at Lowe's and 3 concrete foam tubes with 8-inch diameter. I also got lightweight spackling paste, construction adhesive, and a caulking gun. And also 1/4-inch dowel pins to connect the wooden legs and the tabletop. I marked the length with a pen in the middle, a little thinner than the thickness of the tabletop. I used leftover paint I had, which was Bear's Snow White matte, which you can get at Home Depot. I used the same paint for the walls in my house and several DIY projects. It's warm toned bright white. You could use more luxury paint if you want, but for DIY projects in a rental house, I think this one is good and it's affordable. I know you guys don't have a tabletop, but the thickness of the tabletop I have is 3/4 inch, so you could buy 1 sheet of plywood and cut it into a circle. The diameter of my tabletop is 40 inch. I first cut the lumbers with a miter saw into 28 inch long. And I cut the concrete foam tubes with a hand saw. I realized later that it was easier to cut it with an electric cutter. Then I removed the leg from the tabletop. I wiped the tubes as they were very dusty, and I used a plane to align them in height. Then I glued them together with construction adhesive. And I tied 3 tubes together. I didn't have any strings or ropes, so I used the technique the moving guys taught me before, which is using Scotch tape inside out. I tied the tubes all together in that way, so the tape doesn't stick to the tubes. To drill lumbers, I marked the depth with the tape on the drill bit so I can see the exact depth I needed to drill. It's actually my first time using dowel, so let's see how it goes. I drilled 2 holes on each lumber, first with a thin drill bit, then I switched to a thicker bit, which as thick as the dowel. I put adhesive in the holes and then hammered the dowels in them. I marked where I wanted to install the tubes and lumbers on the tabletop. The dowels were a bit too long, so I trimmed them with an electric cutter and sanded them. Now, to see where I exactly needed to drill holes on the tabletop, I painted the tips of the dowels with acrylic paint and stamped on the tabletop. I wasn't sure if this would work, but I gave it a shot anyway. Then I drilled holes on the stamps. Again, first with a thin drill bit, then I switched to a thicker bit, and I marked the depth with a tape on the drill bit. This is important so you wouldn't drill through the tabletop. I put the adhesive in the holes and connected the lumber, and it actually fit perfectly. I also put the adhesive around the legs to strengthen the connection. Then I glued the tubes and the tabletop with the construction adhesive. I also put the adhesive around the tubes to strengthen the connection. I placed a small side table I had and all the tools as weights and left it dry for a day. The next day, I sanded the tubes to align them in height. And this is the fun part, applying the spackling paste on the tubes. Here are some tips of using spackle. I highly recommend using disposal gloves, and you want to use ones that fit your hands. It takes time for spackle to get completely dry, but it starts getting a bit less moisture on your hand within half an hour or so, and that makes it difficult to apply it smoothly. You don't want to wash your hands each time that happens, so if you wear disposal gloves, you can just throw them away and wear new ones. I first randomly applied it, then started creating texture as I wanted to make textured legs. I glued the legs inside of the tubes to strengthen the connection even more. I let it dry for a day, then I started sanding using 100 grit sandpaper. I kept sanding and sanding and sanding, and I hated the result. I wanted to create a bit of texture, but this was too much. So I applied the spackle again. This time I used a sponge to create a different texture. And I hated it again. So I just ignored the texture this time, and I just applied it as thick as I could. Next day, I sanded it with the electric sander with 100 grit with the minimum speed. By the way, the sander I use is the cheapest one you can find on Amazon, but it does its job and it charges pretty quickly. I leave the link to the product down below if you're interested. I used the paintbrush to clean the surface. For the connecting part, I folded the sandpaper and sanded it by hand. And I still didn't like the texture. And also, the description says you need to dry 24 hours before sanding, and I did. But as I created thick layer, it wasn't fully dried inside and it clubbed it a bit when I sanded. So I ended up applying more spackle, even thicker, and let it dry for 3 days, this time with a fan. After 3 days, I sanded again. I kept sanding and sanding until I was satisfied. And I finally got the texture I wanted. Not too smooth and not too much texture either. This is perfect for me. Then I started painting. I flipped it over and I painted the side as well. The top part of the tabletop was already painted before, so I just fixed the part that was a bit dirty. And finally, here is the result. I actually love the one I made more than the ones that are sold, as mine has the nice texture. The total cost I spent was $108. I know I didn't have to purchase the paint and the tabletop, but even if you buy plywood and the paint, it should be around $200 or even less. I know it took a lot of time and I had to redo it many times, but you know sometimes it's a lot of work and you have to try it until you're satisfied, but you will be so happy when you finally have the result you wanted. And that's the great thing about the handmade, isn't it?
That's it, guys. What did you think? I really hope you like it too. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And if you do, please don't forget to hit the like button. Your one click makes me feel so happy and motivated to make more videos like this. I did so many DIY projects in this house and I want to make tutorial videos, house tour videos, and interior design tips videos in the future as well. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. By the way, I'm also a professional musician and the music that you're hearing right now is the music that I made. The link to my music website is down below, so please check it out if you're interested in. And if you haven't watched my previous videos, please check these out. I'll also leave the link down below. Alright, you made it until the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Have an amazing day. Bye!